Hey everybody, Garcia here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at one of the expansions to Sagrada here, a dice placement game. This is Sagrada Life. This little box comes with two modules and a couple of other little things that you can choose to add into Sagrada. You can do them separately, you can do them together, and they are meant to spice up your game of Sagrada. They'll give you new options, a new type of die that you can choose to add to your display, give you a new opportunity to make victory points, maybe lose victory points if you don't meet their requirement. They give you a new deck of cards that you can draw from, and they give you a nice ability as a surprise from your hand. And overall, they are going to, just like I said, give new life to your game of Sagrada. So is this worth it? Well, before we get to that, let's take a look at what's in here, dive into the components, how they work, and then I'll attempt to answer that question on the other side. So here we're taking a look at everything that comes with Sagrada Life. You are going to have, of course, a rule book right here explaining everything. And you've got two main modules in here. You are going to have the Masterwork module, which is this board here and these dice. There's also these two tool cards that I put over here next to them because it has to do with these new dice, okay? So you're going to want to throw those in only if you're playing with that. And then we've got over here the Apprentice module. We're going to talk about that one first. Besides that, of course, we've got these over here, which are simply 6 new public objectives. You can just throw these in no matter what. It shouldn't affect anything. They show some orange dice there, but you don't need them to be there except for that one. That one you will want to be playing with this module if you throw that in. Otherwise, feel free to mix them in. And these are nice. They just spice it up a little bit. So let's talk about these over here first. Okay, like I said, this is the Apprentice module for the game. These cards, these window patterns, are replicas of the ones that came in the original base game with these new symbols and adjusted values down here for how many glass beads you're going to get. So everybody's given 2. You pick the one you want, just like in the original game, and you play just as in the original game. Whenever you cover one of these locations with the appropriate die, you are going to either draw 2 cards from this deck, keep one, discard the other, or take the top card in the discard pile. And this does begin with a card in the discard pile like this. So as soon as I accomplish that, I will draw 2 cards, for example. If I don't want that one, I'll take a look at them, and I'm going to keep one. So say I want this one I kept here. It says discard, which means I can do it whenever I want on my turn. I discard this, re-roll any number of dice from the draft pool. So I have a new ability now in my hand that I can choose to play whenever I want to. I have a particularly bad pool of dice. Great, I can discard that, activate it, re-roll those, and then make my choice from the draft, okay? And that's pretty much it. That's basically what this all entails. It's very neat. You'll see, again, just 2 symbols, so you're going to gain 2 of these. It's an easy addition. It's very smooth to throw in there. Makes sense. Gives you a little bit more hidden information, which I always like in these little light games. So that's all there is to that one. Let's talk about this Masterwork module over here. So here we've got it set up. You're going to put the dice that match the location at each one from the orange pool. You put the rest of them in a pool. If you are playing with 4, 5, or 6 players, these are all set aside, and they will replenish these. If you're playing with 2 or 3, you won't need them. I'll leave them there for now to show you how that works. You're also allowed, the rules say, to just do this randomly. Just roll and place them, not to worry about the pre-printed values that are shown beneath there, okay? So you might want to do it this way the first time just to see how that goes. And here I've got a game going. It's already the 4th round, so this is meant to be my window here. How this works is, when you draft a die, you are allowed to, instead of adding it to your window, you can go over here to this board and take one of these. So for example, if I've got a green 6 here, I can choose to put it there if that's still empty and take this die. Or I can go here to green and take this one. Or I could even go to this one because it's any color and take that one there, okay? When you do that, you're also going to get some of the glass beads. If you do this, you get 2, 2, 2, 2, 1 here, and none if you're on the last column there. So for example, let's say I'm going to do this. I'm going to go there. All right? And I am going to take my 2 beads, and I'm going to take the matching die right here. Now this, I'm going to put anywhere in here. I have to follow color restrictions, but I don't have to follow pip restrictions. So this can go, say, for example, there. I can put that right there. And the rules are, at the end of the game, if the 2 arrows are pointing to dice that share the same number or the same color, I'm going to get 5 victory points for that. If I'm not doing so, I'm going to lose 2 points. Again, I can put this anywhere I want. So if I do this, for example, and I put it right there, this die will be yellow, assuming I put any die there at all. So I'm likely to be able to get that one. That's going to be my 5 victory points. Again, if it's a game that has 4, 5, or 6 people, I'm going to now, as long as there's another empty spot to claim this, I would put another one there showing the same face, like so. And now anybody with a red could claim that one. And once that's done, then that one won't be replenished again, okay? Or you can just roll. So the differences are, all 4 of these pointed 2 dice. That's simple enough. The 2 that are being pointed at, if they're the same number or the same color, you've got your points. These last 2 right here, this is all 4 colors around it must be different, and then you get your 5 points. And this is all pip values around this die must be different, and then you get your 5 points, okay? So that's basically it. There are, like I said, a couple of these that deal with the, couple of tools that deal with the orange faces, and they allow you basically manipulation over that, okay? So there you go. That is that module and how it's going to work out in allowing you to manipulate the game and hopefully get some more victory points. Plus, they inject a little bit more of a few more of these into the game, which is never a bad thing, I've found. I like that quite a bit. Let's go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of these 2 modules and this expansion as a whole. That is Sagrada Life. I have to say, Sagrada, I think, is a pretty nice game. It's not one of my favorites. I thought it was a little flat out of the box. I thought the game mechanisms were interesting, but some of the things didn't quite sit well with me. The main thing being the tools, okay? The you spending favor tokens to trigger those tools. The main reason I didn't really like that too much is, well, they were a little confusing for one thing, but also those favor tokens are worth victory points. And it always felt a little, you know, I don't know, just like you were shooting your own foot, giving them up to take some ability that might or might not end up giving you more points at the end of the game, right? Well, I think this helps alleviate that. So I like it. That's right out of the gate the main thing I'll say. I like this expansion. I think both of the modules in here are solid. I like the Apprentice one a little bit better, but they're both great and they both work well together. So let's talk about it, shall we? My only drawback here is the theme. I think the theme is still pretty weak. The Apprentice one makes a little more sense than the Masterwork one, but neither one is particularly thematic. Not that Sagrada is particularly thematic, so I'm not giving this a thumbs down or anything. It's not like it's going to break the fantastic immersion the original game had. It's just not really boosting it either. This is not going to be, one of them, the Masterwork expansion, will not be particularly easy to explain to people because it doesn't make any sense, right? So be aware of that. Everything else I do like, though. The aesthetics in this. The new dice are lovely. I like the way those work out. The card quality, same as in the original one. New board is nice where you put the orange dice. So no problem. It's a tiny little package. Everything in it looks good. Fits with the look of the original game. The replay value. Lots of fun new effects. Both of the expansions, like I said, work well together so that replay value stays high. But you can pull one out if you want. And, you know, you can mix and match that however you want to. There's also other expansions out there that you could do the same thing with, right? So, good replay value. The game arc gets a really nice boost, especially Well, each sort of module has the reason why I find it benefits the game arc. The masterwork, the orange dice, they give you more favor tokens. I love that, because now you have more of those to take more actions, and you don't feel as hindered by going, ooh, I'm giving up my last one. And there are no more. Well, now there may be more, right? So I like that a lot about it. And then the other one, just having abilities in your hand that let you get out of a tight spot. I like that. You know, I like the ability of having something hidden. Something that your opponent doesn't know. Because the only thing that was hidden really in the base game was what color you were scoring for, which became painfully apparent 3 rounds in, right? So I like that about this one. The feel of that. A little mystery. A little more control over the special abilities. Always worth it. The ease of play. Like I said, I think teaching the module with the orange dice is a little trickier, but overall, these fold right in. Especially the master, not the masterworks, the apprentice module. Man, I'd throw that in every time, you know? Yeah, the players might, if they're really, really new, they might draw a couple of cards and be like, I don't really know what this means. That could be a drawback, but it's so smooth. It is so easy. Here's it's like, here's the same game. Here's a couple of extra things to think about, and abilities and neat powers. Here's some neat powers. You don't want them? Of course you want them. So that's always in for me, you know? And then lastly, tactics, luck, strategy. Yeah, these give you new ways to accomplish the same old thing. And so they enhance the game. They grow it a little bit. They give you a little wiggle room of how to get to the same thing. They also give you a new way to make victory points. You get those orange dice, you accomplish their little objective, boom, here's some points. And more victory points, new places to get them are fun. It probably means you're ignoring something else, but that's okay, because it's an alternate way to make points. Something else is just not working out for you, go grab an orange die, put it somewhere advantageous, play with the puzzle of that, try to make points that way. Really neat. So there you go. Again, I think Sagrada is an okay game. I might rate it perhaps a 7, right? 6.5, 7. That's kind of where Sagrada is at for me. I think this expansion makes the game better. And so I think this expansion, for how little it is, how compact, but how nice of a punch it packs, this is going to get an 8 out of 10 from me. That means it's a seal of approval, and I certainly recommend it, especially if you're a fan of Sagrada. If you already like the core game, and if you like it more than I do, you absolutely want to get your hands on this. There's nothing here that's going to be a detriment, but it's going to add all of the things you want without pushing the game out of its category, kind of out of its weight class, right? Some expansions, you're like, oh, this light little push your luck dice game. Now, this expansion makes it into a worker placement 4X game. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, that's not what I want. This doesn't do that. This gives you a little more flavor, a couple new options, doesn't push the game out of very much a family weight light Eurogame territory. So, good stuff. 8 out of 10. Seal of approval. And that's it for me, everybody. My name is Z Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.